Welcome back. Camping World Truck Series racing from Darlington. Great to have you with us here on FS1 tonight. Trucks are rolling for the pace laps at this very unique facility.
It's our Camping World track description, and there's a lot of campers here, so Camping World's in the right spot. 1.366 miles, turns 1 and 2, banked at 25 degrees, 3 and 4, 23. All those numbers, they don't do it justice. You can't write down what this track is all about. It's just the fact that they're going to run 1 inch from that concrete wall most all night long.
Yeah, let's take a look at our race analysis. You see this race is 147 laps, a little bit over 200 miles. Each of the first 2 stages are 45 laps long. Our final stage, 57 laps. You see our pit window somewhere around 54 to 58 laps. Sheldon Creed won both these races last year, but these guys are going to want tires well before 54 to 58 laps.
And they've got 6 sets. 1 on the truck and 5 sitting. That's enough tires for some strategy to become a part of this thing tonight.
Our Dead on Tools starting lineup. John Hunter Nemechek and Ty Majeski earned front row in qualifying earlier today, and Nemechek was very fast in practice on the longer run and also on the short qualifying stint. He was impressive.
Let's see if we can catch a word with our buddy Stuart Priest, and he's starting back in the 23rd position. Hey Stuart, it's Waltrip and the guys in the Fox booth. You copy?
Yeah, I got you, Mikey.
I've been trying to explain all day how tough this place is, how crazy this place is. You got to come to pit road. I don't want to mess you up. Tom Bodine messed up when I talked to him, so maybe let you do pit road and we'll talk in a minute. Or can you multitask?
I might be able to multitask here. You can hear me call my lights. All right, 3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna let him
First
have a
gear there,
second,
2 red.
feel his way through this. Looking at his reds, there's no way I could stand him getting a speed penalty. He's starting back in 23rd. We're gonna need everything we can get.
2, flash 2.
Yeah, that's good information. Yeah. He's seeing how many lights he can make flash and how he's able to take advantage of every inch of this pit road to be as fast as he can on and off. So when his team cuts a 14, 12-second pit stop, he does his job on pit road.
And his crew chief is looking at the telemetry right now. They know exactly what speed he was running in each one of the sections on pit road.
All right, Stuart, I laid out so you could talk all them lights flashing and things. So you got that squared away. Tell us about what's the toughest thing about this track.
Well, for us today it was qualifying. Sent it a little hard into 3 and it loaded up on the splitter, got tight, scrubbed the fence. So not starting where we want to, but it's all of it. It's managing the tires. It's racing around the other guys. Obviously, to start here, we're going to be in the scrum in the back and keeping our nose clean.
Well, that's a beautiful looking Halmar number 52. Congratulations on that celebratory paint scheme, and have fun tonight. Yeah,
thank you. Really honored to carry Jumpin' Jack's 93 Dirt Modified colors for all his fans and all our Dirt Modified fans in the Northeast. We appreciate all the support that we've got from this truck, and hopefully we can get this thing to the front.
Thank you, buddy.
Downstairs to Jamie Little.
And look who's back in the Truck Series, going back to his roots. It's Ross Chastain, and he's back with Nice Motorsports, of course, the one team that he has found success with and found victory lane. Now, of course, he's been on a tear in the Cup side, winning twice already this season, but he told me it was this truck race that has had him nervous all week long. He said he's thought about it so much because he doesn't do it all the time. He wants to get back to victory lane at Darlington. Something he's never done here is race a truck. Keep your eye on the 41. Josh?
And Jamie, speaking of getting back to victory lane, that's exactly what Corey Heim wants to do, because the last time we saw him in a truck, he was taking the checkered flag in a win at Atlanta, his first one of his Truck Series career. And this is a guy who is very confident heading into this race, and he's been going to all the races, even when he wasn't in the truck, just learning from the 51 team, being on the spotter stand, learning and understanding all the lingo, and has a very confident. Now here's the thing though, he said the pressure is on because the last time out he won. So now everyone's looking at him to see what he's going to do next. So he's looking for win number 2.
Wouldn't count him out, that's for sure. Onboard cams?
Yeah, we're going to ride along with Chandler Smith. He's going to ride our visor cam in his Safe Light Toyota, starting all the way back in 28th position because he had trouble qualifying. It's going to be fun to watch this young man go forward.
He's starting in the scrub too, or scrum. Is that what Stuart Priest called it?
Yes.
Well, let's hop up to where there's no scrum. We're on the second row here. We talked about Grant Enfinger, how strong he's been in practice. Can he get this 23 truck to victory lane? We're going to have a great spot to ride along with him.
Ty Majeski down on the bottom. John Hunter Nemechek up top. Nemechek won the pole convincingly earlier this afternoon. The green flag is out. It's a throwback weekend, and we're racing at Darlington.
Wow, side by side and sideways at Darlington. Ty Majeski says, I don't care how fast you were in practice, John Hunter, I'm going to hang it in there. And man, it about got away from him. Down low, he got very loose off turn 2.
Yeah, keep an eye on that spot off turn 2 where that pavement.
Oh, 3 wide. There's Ross Chastain sideways down on the bottom.
They laid
take
down
long for it to get action to get heated up, did it, Vince?
Laid down some new pavement over there on off turn 2 a couple of years ago, and boy, we see a bump just as you exit turn 2, and that's caught some guys out already today in practice.
Yeah, if you don't have that truck pointed in the right direction when you hit that bump, it could be serious trouble for you.
There's Parker Kligerman in the 75 getting a big bump from Ben Rhodes as they swing to the outside of Corey Heim. That bump to the rear end, that's not to tell a guy you're mad at him most of the time. It's a way to try to help momentum, pick up some speed down the straightaway. You got to be very careful, though, doing that.
How about that move by the 99 of Ben Rhodes trying to get by the 51 of Corey Heim? Not quite able to do it that time.
You got to go way off the track at times, Phil. You know that. You've raced here. You can't just run on the surface. You got to go way below the lines that at Daytona and Talladega would be out of bounds, but there's no out of bounds at Darlington, and these guys will try to take advantage of all the asphalt out there.
That's a great illustration. That 15 of Tanner Gray. He was down below the racetrack on the apron of the racetrack. Now he's losing ground, though, as you see the yellow 88 of Matt Crafton go by him.
Yeah, Gray made that move on Chastain in the 41, but just couldn't complete the pass, and then because of where he was positioned, it ended up costing him a couple of positions, and back he goes behind Crafton. Well, we've seen a variety of drivers get wiggly coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, the 88 of Matt Crafton just now, Vince. I was watching the same thing.
Nemechek continues to lead from the drop, 5 laps in here at Darlington.
That's an illustration there of what we saw in practice. Just the Ford truck was a little bit better in the short run, a lot better in the short run, a little bit better in the long run, and he's showing that right now.
Almost a half second faster qualifying as we watch Timmy Hill, the 56 truck, go around the outside of Jack Wood in the 24.
That's just outside the top 20.
They are scrambling all over this racetrack. Crafton down low, trying to take the spot away from Ross Chastain, not able to do so. Right behind him, Tanner Gray and Colby Howard in the 91, running in the 15th spot. You see he's heating Tanner Gray up there.
Colby Howard has been impressive today. Looked good in practice. He did spin but didn't hit anything, but qualified inside the top 10 as well as he takes that position.
That was a good view of that bump coming off of turn 2, right where that new patch of asphalt ends and the old begins.
Tyler Ankrum taking a look down on the bottom of Gray as Colby Howard drives away. It's been, like Vince said, been an impressive day for Colby. Watched him at Daytona hang on to the loosest truck I've ever seen anyone drive for 250 miles. And he has great truck control, obviously. And this is a place where if you have that talent, it can really show up.
I said Howard qualified inside the top 10, ran inside the top 10 in that practice session, but actually qualified 19th. But has shown that speed as you see the 0-2 briefly of Jesse Little, and we've got a caution up in turn 2, and the 43 involved in that, and that is Akinori Ogata, and he was not alone. There was a second truck involved in that one as well.
I think it was Josh Rayom in the 33 truck. They had an issue over there.
The bad news is both of those trucks are owned by Josh Rayom.
That's really bad news if you're Josh Rayom.
Yes, it is.
And a Ogata fan.
Bring it on the pit road, bud. Teddy, we're going to bring it to you.
Ogata making his first start of the season. He did run here last May.
We talked earlier during the practice and qualifying show that Ogata has won a couple of races at Hickory Motor Speedway in the late model division. It's a pretty tough place to get a win there at Hickory.
Just let me tell you a little information. The fastest lap of the race for John Hunter was lap 2 when he ran 29:42. 30:11 on the lap prior to the caution flag. So already over a half second fall off.
And less than been about 7 or 8 laps.
Yeah, and that just tells you how abusive this asphalt is to those beautiful throwback Goodyear Eagle tires with the white lettering. It's always fun seeing everybody get involved with this weekend.
So here it is in turn 2, picking it up late, obviously, but
Worst nightmare for a truck owner, Josh Rayom, huh?
Well, and especially when you're sitting there in the truck having it happen.
Caution early here at Darlington. John Hunter Nemechek out front. Back here at Darlington Raceway, race number 7 of the season for the Camping World Truck Series.
Lots of smiles before you get in that truck. Like, this is Darlington. This is going to be a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, well, are you saying after the race their faces aren't going to look quite the same?
Whoa, I talked about strategy. We're having Chandler Smith qualified poorly. Needed a little bit of adjustment. 4 tires, and the reason why they're putting 4 tires on field is twofold. They have them. They have enough tires to change them here, but Josh, this team was in the back, so they're going to try to take advantage of this early caution.
Yeah, Chandler Smith just wanted a little more. He came in, got a tear off, got tires and fuel. We know he started 28th. Now he's moving his way up through the field, but they just wanted a little bit more to help him out there on the track, guys.
Thanks, Josh. Reminder that Sunday, right here in Darlington, Throwback Week continues. Memory lane, no speed limit in the Goodyear 400 at Darlington. Coverage begins Sunday, 2 o'clock Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
I cannot wait to see the new car on the Darlington Raceway for this race on Sunday. It's going to be out of control.
How about that good-looking machine of Matt DiBenedetto? Jamie?
Doing a nice job so far. Hasn't said much on the radio. Up a couple of positions. It's been a bad streak for him. He's finished 15th or worse for 4 straight races. But some good news right now. Darlington Raceway just announced that truck right there, that paint scheme, best in show.
Deservingly so.
Yeah.
Shouting out to Sterling Marlin.
Yep.
Love that truck. Love Sterling. Miss you, buddy. Hope you're watching, having a Coors Light, seeing that beautiful 25 truck out here on the track.
And DiBenedetto's never run a truck here. Of course, this is his first season in the Truck Series, but has a couple of Cup top 10s here.
Had a little debris on the grill I saw. Shouldn't be too big of an issue.
Carson Hocevar picked that outside lane, try to push John Hunter down into turn 1 ahead of Zane Smith on the bottom. I think the leader will take the top all night long, Vince.
And that is John Hunter Nemechek, the control vehicle up top. Zane Smith leading that bottom lane.
Zane did a nice job on the launch. He'll try to do what Corey Heim tried to do unsuccessfully earlier.
Ty Majeski.
Yes. Running that bottom is several trucks been out of control, but it looks like they're out of control whether they're on the bottom or the top.
And Smith got him on the restart, got John Hunter. So Zane Smith out front, John Hunter crossing over, coming right back, looking for the lead again.
That's impressive. Great move. And these trucks are going to be changing. The weather's cooling off. It was really hot when they practiced early today. So we could see John Hunter's advantage that was so obvious earlier go away as the cloud, as the night sets.
Yeah, temperature was in the upper 80s during practice and mid 80s during qualifying today. And when we started tonight, it was in the low 70s.
Just a beautiful night in South Carolina. Trucks on the track. Throwback weekend. This is as good as it gets.
Zane Smith, a two-time winner out front, as you see Stuart Friesen working the top side, taking a look. There's the 91 of Colby Howard. Now Eckes and Parker Kligerman fighting for position just outside the top 5.
How many near misses will there be tonight, Phil? I mean, every time we see something, ooh, oh.
I've seen 14 so far.
Ryan Reese in the 17.
Is that Reggie Ruggiero's car he's thrown back to?
Yes.
I think it is. Yeah.
Cool to see that.
Yeah, we saw Reggie run a lot of modified races over the years.
Watch Matt Crafton in this neon 88, neon yellow 88.
This just looks nasty. Wow, he hung with it, didn't he?
I watched him earlier. I thought he looked really, really loose earlier before that caution came out a while ago. But he's hanging in there just outside the top 10 and 13th.
Just ahead of Crafton is Corey Heim. And then up front, you've got Zane Smith being pursued by John Hunter Nemechek.
And John Hunter is doing just that. He is in hot pursuit. He's all over the back of that 38 truck with a faster Toyota, I think, but getting around is a whole nother story.
Nemechek drops down, takes a look.
Carson Hocevar hanging right in there in that 42 truck.
We're used to seeing that, aren't we? Carson's just been a breath of fresh air, not only with his free spirit attitude, but the way he can wheel a truck. Just a win waiting to happen is that 42. And it'd be really cool for him to take Travis Pastrana to victory lane. And I think we heard in the pre-race show there's a tattoo involved if it happens. So we have to follow that story too.
And did I hear as Hocevar looks to the inside of Nemechek that he's going to be the artist? Did I hear that?
Oh, got real loose.
He's going to lose a spot
and
too.
Infinger is going to come up and take third from Hocevar.
This is why we run these truck races. After practice, you would have thought John Hunter was going to run away and hide. He's not going anywhere. Look at this 5-truck battle for the lead.
Great look from out the windshield of Infinger at Nemechek and Zane Smith. Infinger trying to challenge Nemechek for second. John Hunter closes the door.
How about that? Was there room there?
15 close calls.
Meanwhile, Corey Heim pursues Chastain, and they make the move now on Ben Rhodes in that 99. That's for 10th. And around is Lawless Allen.
Stay low, get it back rolling here. Get it back rolling. We're all good. Gonna need 4 tires though.
Caution is out. Didn't see any contact with Allen. Was running just inside the top 25.
Spotter Joe Campbell called it as good as we could have. We're all good. We need 4 tires. Bring it to pit road. Let's do it. Let's see what happens to Lawless. The truck on the very bottom there, the light blue nose.
He's going to be below the racetrack on entrance there.
He got into Chase Purdy a little bit in that DW truck.
Well, and Jeff Gordon fans will recognize that 45 paint scheme from his Department of Defense scheme back in 2007.
That's an aggressive move, isn't it? And by the way, we're racing, back in about the 21st and 2nd position. It just seems like what Stuart Friesen said. He wasn't being overly derogatory when he said, I'm back in the scrum. He didn't mean the trucks necessarily.
Dirty air.
He meant the mess.
Yes.
And where all action like that is going to take place. And he wanted to get out of there as quickly as he can. And Stuart has driven up to the top 15 already.
So under caution for the 2nd time tonight. Akinori Ogata and Josh Rayom had contact earlier, brought out the first caution, and about halfway through stage 1.
You can see these pit crews warming up on pit road. And the reason why this is, Vince, they've already lost over a 2nd lap time. So I think you're going to see some of our front runners maybe come get some tires here in this state.
I like this call. And you talked, Michael, about the fact that as we see Zane Smith is going to make the hard left and bring a bunch of trucks with him. They've got enough tires to make this move right here.
And it's good that NASCAR gives teams enough tires so they have some options. And that makes it good for us TV people, too, because there's going to be a bunch of different strategies down there, Josh.
Well, Chai Majeski's coming into pit. He's been running up front, or in 6th place at the beginning of this race. He said he's really loose through 1 and 2, good through 3 and 4. They asked if they wanted to pit regardless of what happened, so that's what they came in and do. They're going to add a pound in the left rear. They asked if he was having an issue with the splitter. He said it's not affecting him too much. Jamie?
And Zane Smith in the 38, they had told me this morning 20 laps was kind of their threshold. That's when they would want to pit for a new set of tires. The 23 Grant Enfinger, a little bit tight off too. Good run so far for him. And the 4 John Hunter Nemechek, they just decided to stay out.
Boy, there were a lot of turns on that wrench in the back of that 38. It was a significant adjustment. Halfway through stage 1, Zane Smith has been the leader.
Hey race fans, Jesse Punch here live at Darlington Raceway. I'll be here all weekend long bringing you updates during the race. Few cars just brought it in here to pit road, and one of those trucks was the 17 of Ryan Preece back in the field this weekend. Ryan is a Cup Series driver for Stewart-Haas Racing, but tonight he's in the truck with Nice Motorsports and honoring one of his heroes. Ryan, an experienced modified driver, is honoring Reggie Ruggiero, a dominant modified driver in the 90s, and Reggie actually went on to work for Stewart-Haas Racing as a chassis builder. So Ryan Preece, now a Stewart-Haas driver, having looked up to Reggie his entire career, now gets to work alongside him. Ryan joked with me that Reggie never really gave him the time of day as he was a young kid in the shop, but now after he earned that 2013 Modified Championship, he thinks he's finally earned the respect of one of his longtime heroes. So take a look at that 17 truck. It is a tribute to the Modified Champion, Reggie Ruggiero.
Welcome back to the Dead on Tools 200 at Darlington. Zane Smith was the leader prior to those pit stops. He came to pit road. John Hunter Nemechek, one of 10 lead lap trucks who did not. Nemechek still with the lead now, again, after leading 14 laps earlier. How about that 38 and the decision to come to pit road, Jamie?
Yeah, Vince, you mentioned he gave up the lead. He said he was scary loose, just kept saying how loose he was. So not only did they want tires, he wanted everything thrown at that truck. Wedge, air pressure, track bar adjustment, and they gave up a lot of track position doing it. He'll restart 18.
And you know, we talked earlier in practice that as the track cools down, you start getting that nose, that's front tires to really grip. And when that starts happening, something's got to give. And generally, it's the traction in the back.
And we saw Matt Crafton wiggling just about the time the drop of the green flag. It's going to be really interesting to see what these guys with new tires can do with these 10 trucks that stayed out. I think they're going to mow them down.
I'm going to take John Hunter to win the stage. You don't agree?
I don't agree.
You think the new tires are going to propel?
Yes, I do.
Well, let's find out.
We got this going.
Green flag back out. We resume racing in stage 1.
Isn't it crazy what a handful they are just to take off, trying to get down the front straightaway?
Wow. 3 wide going into 1.
Grant Enfinger hadn't been on the track yet. Down on the apron, just
Still not been out the track.
That is crazy.
There's that scrum you guys were talking about earlier.
He's right in the middle of it, isn't he?
I'm just going to be surprised if these guys with the differing tires are able to get through this mess without running each other.
Oh, 4 wide.
Talk to me, 4 wide.
Wow. Somehow Crafton got through there and ends up getting them all.
That was nuts.
Great move from Matt Crafton.
Parker Kligerman digging down on the bottom off turn 2.
Enfinger in that 23 truck is 10th.
Wow. Chris Wright doing a nice job in the 44 up on the outside. And there's Chandler Smith. This is something you don't ever say at Darlington.
No.
The 88 of Crafton ends up getting the 38, the 98, and the 20, all with this move.
You don't say that without saying, "Are you okay?
Yeah,
Are you all right?"
I was going to say caution. That's what usually is followed by when you say 4 wide.
The spotter for Crafton, Jason Hedleski, is receiving resuscitation right now up on the roof. Ben Rhodes on the move as well. Picked up 6 positions in that 1 lap. He's up inside the top 10, running 7th.
What about Timmy Hill up in the top 5? He used that strategy.
There's Rhodes in the 99 going by Enfinger.
Wow.
Yeah, Ben Rhodes is the top running guy right now that just put 4 tires on. He's trying to grab the 4th spot from Dean Thompson, and he's got it. How about Hocevar 3 wide on the bottom?
Kligerman in the middle.
Get my 1 exit here. It's going to be good on exit.
Give me a little space. Give me some space. Ross Chastain looks on as Hocevar gives up the spot to Kligerman.
Teammates Chastain and Hocevar at Nice Motorsports.
Dean Thompson in that 40 truck. He was talked earlier, Vince, in the top 5 after staying out. He's still inside the top 10. Good job by him.
Crafton. There's the 9 of Blaine Perkins. Enfinger and Rhodes continue to battle. Boy, Enfinger has not given up that position. He is really digging to try to keep Rhodes from securing the spot, but I think Ben's got it this time.
I don't know. I think maybe right now Grant's a little bit better than Ben. They have a great battle going on here.
Enfinger was 0.4 of a second faster than our leader, John Hunter Nemechek, that last lap.
And look at him able just to cut it right to the bottom of the track to try to grab this spot away from Rhodes.
4th and 5th right there. Rhodes and Enfinger, teammates a year ago at ThorSport. Enfinger has moved over to GMS, and now Enfinger gets the spot.
We talked at the very top of the show. They really need a good run. 3 top 10s coming into here in a row, but they really needed a solid top 5 kind of day, and it looks good.
Watch this. Haley Deegan in the 1 behind Blaine Perkins in the 9. Here comes Colby Howard. Yikes.
What a save. That was a racing deal. Colby had a nice run through the middle. Haley had a run to cut to the bottom, try to take advantage of it. Luckily, they were all able to keep the trucks heading in the right direction.
Tyler Ankrum giving a little shove to the 1, trying to get past Chris Wright in the 44. Back there just outside the top 20. 14 to go in stage 1 at Darlington.
Race fans, Jesse Punch here live from Darlington Raceway. Quick update on that 43 truck of Akinori Ogata, who we saw get into that initial contact, bringing out that first caution of the day. In talking with the crew, the engine has been misfiring since that earlier incident. They were hoping to bring it in during that second caution and make some adjustments, hopefully get things figured out, but the truck was not reaching minimum speed. However, since then, Ogata has reached minimum speed, so the team is trying to decide when the best time to bring the truck in here as the end of stage 1 is approaching. I'll keep you updated on what's going on down here on the 43 and what's going on in general in the pits. Enjoy the race. Thank you, ma'am.
Back at Darlington, John Hunter Nemechek continues to lead.
It is tight up front, Vince.
Corey Heim running second. Remember, those two have not pitted. Meanwhile, Chandler Smith, who pitted on lap 10 for tires, is challenging for the lead. Tires making a big difference, obviously.
Yeah, how about Kligerman's fresher tires?
Yeah, he's got somewhere to go.
What a great run by Parker Kligerman in that 75 truck, able to drive right up through these guys.
So you had Chandler Smith, who pitted on lap 10, and Kligerman pitted on lap 21, and what a difference
10
laps made in tires as Kligerman went around him, and now Kligerman has to check up and Smith comes right back around.
Yeah, sometimes when you get a run down in 1 and 2, you really got to be patient and back out of the gas, because you're not going to be able to pass off turn 2. And if you're the bottom truck, you're going to lose all your momentum. It cost Kligerman that spot, but now he's right back on it. I'll say he drives it a little bit differently this time, trying to jump on him right as soon as they get in the center.
Yeah, it's about timing.
There he goes. Can he push his nose out in front?
Remember, there's a lot more grip there on that new pavement.
Nope, not going to work.
Boy, there's a bump coming off turn 2, and you can really see it upsetting the trucks. John Hunter Nemechek holding on for now. Remember, Nemechek has not pitted. His pursuers have.
Including Grant Enfinger in that 23 yellow truck. He's trying to get up there with this trio of trucks battling for the lead.
John Hunter has done a great job holding on to this lead.
Can't last much longer though, right? That 75 truck's fresher tires are just dominating right now the speed, but he just can't make the move. This time he decides to tuck in off turn 2, maybe run to the bottom here in 3 and 4 and make the move.
He's going to try to do a slide job right here.
Kligerman for the lead. Can he secure it? The 75 to the front. 5 laps left in stage 1.
Now he should be able to drive away from John Hunter Nemechek. Watch this.
Yeah, just give me 1 corner or 2, buddy, and I'll see you later. And I probably will see you later, because John Hunter's not done by any stretch. But I think it's really cool. We saw there in this stage, Vince, how strategy can play into the way trucks are performing. We got to keep that in mind for later in the race.
These guys now know exactly what's going to happen with 20 laps to go in that final stage.
And how about Ross Chastain just blew by Grant Enfinger and Chandler Smith, moving up into that third spot.
Now the crew chiefs have to just say, okay, we have to have a set lane in the pits late in the race or we're going to be in trouble.
I think the second stage will be so short. It's 45 laps, but after the caution laps for the end of the first stage, it'll only be about 38 or 9 laps. So I don't think we'll see guys do that in the second stage like we did in this stage, as we see Ross taking it 3 wide to gain a couple spots.
Man, impressive from the 41 of Chastain. Now he's working on John Hunter for second.
I think John Hunter's really done a nice job hanging on to what he has, battling all these guys with, in some cases, 20 lap pressure tires.
And just remember, that means he has an extra set of tires now laying in the pits over a lot of these guys.
All the crew chiefs knew that tires were going to matter, but this is a real learning experience for them now. They're seeing exactly how much they matter now.
And this does not surprise me in the least that those 20 lap pressure tires can do what they've been doing.
Good lesson to learn for that final stage of the race, and one you want to put them on. 2 laps left here in stage 1.
Tanner Gray doing a great job here, holding on to that 7th spot.
Chandler Smith up to 6 from his dismal starting 28th position.
And remember, stage points that come along with finishing top 10 in the stage, important especially for a guy like Enfinger, who came into this race 9 points below the cut line.
There you saw Tanner Gray, as Phil mentioned. There's a battle between teammates. Chandler's going to grab that spot, maybe.
John Hunter's hanging tough on the outside. He's going to give way now, though.
That's for 5th.
And what really worked, we know how far back Chandler Smith started in this race because of issues qualifying. That great pit call by Danny Stockman to put tires on during that stage has him running up now in the top 5 as this stage ends.
Parker Kligerman restarted 14th and came through with the tires to win the stage for the first time. His first career stage win. It's Darlington. You know what to expect. And we have not been disappointed. Camping World Truck Series Racing, presented by Blue Emu. Parker Kligerman, stage winner for the first time in his career.
That's hard to believe, isn't it? As fast as he is, everywhere you go, he always shows up at the front. Good job, Parker, and that whole team.
And there you see those stage points, how they were divvied out to the top 10 in stage 1. And it's a long line coming to pit road as expected. Led by Kligerman. Begin with Josh.
And Chandler Smith said right now he's just too free up by the wall, too tight on the throttle, and he's really dragging on the straightaway, so they're going to make an adjustment for him. Jamie?
Ross Chastain in the 41 said he didn't fire up as well as the others, and he's too loose to run up on the wall as well, so wants a little bit more security. His teammate Carson Hocevar made a mistake in 2. That's how Chastain got around him. He's a little bit too tight there, and Parker Kligerman led 9 laps tonight already. Wants a little bit of rear security, but overall, good. And Vince, he was confident in that truck earlier.
They do such a wonderful job. That small team, Parker Kligerman, led by Chris Carrier.
How many full-time employees they got, Vince?
1.
Yeah. And we're winning.
Been racing here at Darlington since 1950, and this was one of the more enjoyable weekends of the year. Call it the throwback weekend for the trucks, Xfinity Cup. A lot of throwback paint schemes and throwback apparel. Of course, the Darlington stripe is always in style.
It's since 1950.
Yes. And speaking of apparel, I wish we could have shown you Phil and Michael trying to get into their old fire suits. That would have been the actual best piece of video. But well, and Mike, we see yours, good looking I know you're sucking it in a little bit there. Phil, what happened? How come you didn't pull up the rest of it?
I got it on.
But how come you didn't pull up the rest of it over to, like Mike's got?
It wouldn't go, Vince.
This uniform, I'm throwing it back to 1994 when I drove for Dale Earnhardt in the Busch Series at Rockingham. Mark Martin beat me. I ran second. But this uniform means the world to me. I drove for Dale in the 80s and in the 90s before I got to be a part of his team in the Cup side. But we were always buddies, and it always is fun. I had on my Schrader shirt earlier. Now I got on my Dale Earnhardt uniform. Old Mike's having a good Friday night.
On that particular race, you're talking about late caution. You're leading, right? And you wanted to come. You wanted to stay out.
Fresh
right?
pavement at Rockingham.
Yeah, they just paved the track, and so I had a lot of grip. And I said, I think we should stay out. Dale said, "Shut up. You just drive.
You're not the crew chief.
We're pitting." And okay, sir. We'll come to pit road. Whatever you say.
Did the guy that won? Did he pit too?
You know,
or
Mark
did he...
Martin was pretty good. He probably could have beat me on 3 tires, but he
didn't pit.
He stayed out and won.
Out.
And did you bring that up with Dale?
Never. not to this day. I would never correct Dale Earnhardt.
And I think one of the cool things, Mike, you've got a throwback paint scheme out on the racetrack tonight.
Spencer Boyd, the 1986 Hawaiian Punch Pontiac. I drove that very car, Phil. That car that you see in the photo there at this racetrack in 1986. And Spencer came and got it the other day and took it to his shop. And Rim Time was kind enough to let him do this paint scheme. And he said the reason why he wanted to do my throwback was because his first truck race that he ran at Martinsville back in the day, he and Spencer Gallagher got together, and I said, "Oh, look at that, Spencer's wrecking Spencer." And he thought that was kind of funny. And I asked him, was there any kind of fight that followed that tussle on the track between the two? He said, "No, that was a different guy that fought Spencer."
We'll never forget that, will we? Well, it's so cool to see you honored in that way, and well done to Spencer Boyd.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Zane Smith came back to pit road after that pit stop. What's going on, Jamie?
Yeah, talk about a fight. Zane Smith has been fighting this truck. He has just been wrecking loose all night. I talked about the first stop. They came in and threw everything at it. Well, they came down again and added a spring rubber and again threw everything at it. So they just brought him in once more to make sure they got that spring rubber in the proper place. So he's all the way down in 29th right now, Josh.
Matt Crafton's been battling all day as well. He had no right rear grip earlier on in the race, so they made a track bar adjustment. They adjusted the air in the tires, and look at him now, up from 19th to 7th and feeling much better about the race, guys.
Well, if you're going to make significant adjustments, make them early.
Absolutely.
I got to tell you.
We saw the 88 of Matt Crafton struggling with that truck early on.
How about that stage 1 winner, Mike?
Let's check in with Parker Kligman. Parker, Waltrip and the boys in the Fox booth. You copy?
Gotcha, buddy.
You're not just a pretty face on TV. You can wheel one of these trucks. Great job getting the win there in this stage. What's more fun, racing a truck at Darlington or getting behind the mic and talking about racing?
I think you know the answer to that. I love this place. What an awesome racetrack. Man, with the Fast Food Country USA truck we got here, Chris Carey and everyone has done a great job. That was a lot of fun. I probably should have passed the 4 a lot quicker than I did, but hopefully we put on a little bit of a show down in 1 and 2. I don't know what I was thinking, but we had some fun with it. Anyway, we'll hopefully we close this thing out. I love racing at this track.
Well, I love watching you race at this track, and hang in there. Get you a win tonight on Throwback Weekend.
Thanks, buddy. We're a throwback team. It'd be very fitting.
Well, that's for sure. It is indeed. It is a very small organization, as Michael said, one full-time employee being Chris Carrier. The rest of them are come to the track are just guys who come to the track with them.
And I talked to Chris Carey about that a few weeks ago, and he said, hey, and it's true, we only have one full-time employee, me, he said, but we have some really, really good part-time people. Yeah. We have former car chiefs, as some of our crew members volunteer and come at night. He said, we have a great team.
Yes, a good group of helpers. Mm-hmm. Hey, USFL action continues next after our race tonight. It's the Philadelphia Stars taking on the Michigan Panthers. And then tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern on Fox, Todd Haley's Tampa Bay Bandits taking on Skip Holtz and the Birmingham Stallions.
What about Skip Holtz and the Birmingham Stallions? They were representing on the pit road down at Talladega.
Yep.
Having a lot of fun. Skip's a great personality. Really enjoyed being at NASCAR that weekend. It's been fun seeing the USFL get up and running here on Fox.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to check out the USFL, there's been some, I'll tell you what, I was watching the other night, some really entertaining football. And like some of the different technical aspects of it as well. And It's been fun to watch.
And the Michigan Panthers are my new team.
Yeah, you've mentioned that.
Yeah.
And hey, the Lions had a good draft.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, we're optimistic. We're in the 35th year of a 50-year rebuilding program.
A lot of optimism.
Yeah.
You're optimistic again, aren't you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, I love what Parker said, talking about the pass he was trying to make down in turns 1 and 2. I didn't think it looked like he was going about it exactly like he wanted to. He finally figured it out. But, you know, he said, I hope you are enjoying this racing. It's
We
great.
are.
I
We
mean,
are.
From front to back, watch this restart. You will not believe where all these trucks will try to go.
A couple of teammates on the front row for this restart. That's Carson Hocevar on the bottom, and the control truck is Ross Chastain up top. You've got Grant Infinger in row 2 behind Hocevar, and then that's Parker Kligerman up top behind Chastain. The green flag is out. Stage 2 underway at Darlington. For the lead, Hocevar. On the bottom, challenging Chastain. Kligerman right there. Throw a blanket over him for the lead, and now Chastain stretches it out.
What about that yellow truck right behind these three? Matt Crafton, the crafty old veteran, sneaking into the picture here in the 4th position.
Yeah, we heard Josh Sims say they've made a lot of changes to that truck, and it seems like they've worked for Crafton.
And prior to this race, Matt Crafton had been running in the top 5 only a little bit over 100 laps all season long. Looks good tonight.
3 wide, Ryan Priest way down low. That's Tanner Gray just ahead. Tyler Ankrum in the 16 truck. Contact.
Majeski needed a little bit extra room coming off the corner. Got into the 15 of Tanner Gray.
Is that where you say sorry instead of ask for permission?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Ben Rhodes in the 99, and there's a good look at the back end of Rhodes' truck from Chandler Smith's perspective.
B2 on entry.
Chandler Smith in the 7th position. Team's done a nice job overcoming that starting position outside the top 25.
It cost him a set of tires, but it worked for him.
Wow, look at that battle. There's no room there.
Eckes just closed the door on Tanner Gray.
Here comes Stuart Friesen. The 52 has made his way back in. Ooh, contact with the 15 of Tanner Gray.
And as soon as Tanner gets sideways, here comes Chase Purdy in the 61 trying to squeeze
Todd
in there.
Bodine involved. Todd Bodine going around in the 62.
Hold your brake, hold your brake, hold your brake, hold your brake. There you go. We're spot, no contact, right?
A little bit of contact for Bodine.
Run.
He was back in the 17th position.
Said it wouldn't run. I wonder if he hit the kill switch with his elbow while he was in there doing all that driving. That's something I'd have them. If I was a
Sounds
spotter.
like he's driving away now.
Yep,
Yeah, he's got it fired up.
I think there was just a little beating and banging going on amongst that group, and
Yeah, he
Bodine
just
got
ran
the
out
worst
of
of
room.
it.
Sure did, yeah. But you see just a little bit of a mark on the right front tire.
that's Purdy in the 61, Tanner Gray in the 15, and here comes Bodine in the 62.
I think Purdy's going to move up the racetrack.
And knock down the momentum of the truck of Gray, and then that just put Todd in a bad spot.
Look, you can see the right front corner of Todd's truck. He got into the 15 of Tanner Gray, but Todd's experience allowed him to slide down the backstretch here without hitting anything.
Todd Bodine, 2-time series champ, if you're new to the Camping World Truck Series.
And that's battling for a top 15 position. So Todd was rolling pretty good when this all went wrong for him.
Chasing those 800 career NASCAR starts, his second of 6 this season. Ross Chastain continues to lead. No room for error at Darlington.
Hey race fans, Jesse Punch here live once again with an update from Darlington Raceway. I've been keeping you informed on that 43 truck of Akinori Ogata. I told you the team brought it in thinking they potentially have an engine issue with the misfiring happening after that initial contact early on in stage 1. After speaking with the crew who's been under the hood multiple times now, they said that it may have been a potentially loose plug wire in the engine. Now, they do think they fixed it. The representative from Ilmore who was working on the truck says they think they've got it figured out, but they are unsure. They've sent the truck back onto the racetrack and fingers are crossed in the pits. So keep an eye. We'll have to see if that engine is working successfully. Thank you, ma'am.
I'll just say that welcome back. Camping World Truck Series Racing from Darlington here on FS1. Thanks for joining us tonight. A beautiful night in South Carolina. Had some rain earlier today after qualifying, but got started just a few minutes late, but so far so good tonight as we are in stage 2 with Ross Chastain up front. John Hunter Nemechek has led the most laps tonight at 30. As you look at some of the throwback paint schemes, Haley Deegan in the 1.
Bobby Allison, the Matador for Roger Penske, number 16. I remember Bobby Allison winning here at Darlington in that number 16 Matador.
Watch out for the Matador. There was a country music song that had that in it. And there that number 16 is that Haley's paying tribute to.
I was down around that one truck in the garage area earlier today, and it looks nice. How about the 91 of Colby Howard?
He's throwing it back to a street stock owned by Curtis Shipman, which TJ Gordon raced back in the 70s.
Another good-looking truck.
Yeah, that's a good running truck, too, up in the top 20 right now, 15th for Colby.
John Hunter Nemechek, what's the latest, Jamie?
Well, you know they had an extra set of tires they were hanging on to till maybe later in the race. Well, he just cued the radio running top 10, said he had a loose wheel. He just brought it in. They confirmed it. Loose left front for the 4.
Well, that'll make it fun.
But it's a good thing that he saved that set of tires in that first stage. He was able to put this extra set of tires on now and still looks he's pretty good shape with tires.
Going to restart deep in the field, so lost some track position, but could have certainly been worse.
I think if a truck like this has a problem, anything before the start of the final stage, they can overcome it. And that's one thing. But secondly, as you mentioned, Phil, with the extra set of tires, they've got a little bit more flexibility at this point.
Well, it helps when you're as good as Nemechek's truck has been today, that's for sure. Well, for this restart, John Hunter Nemechek is deep in the field, but Ross Chastain is up front, leading them to green with Parker Kligerman down on the inside. Hocevar in third in the 42 truck. Here comes Crafton in the 88. Side by side for the lead. Chastain and Kligerman down the backstretch.
Boy, it's hard to stay there when you're on the inside coming off of turn 2.
Man, I'm impressed with Crafton. You talked about the struggles this season's been, not running even in the top 5 at any point at a lot of these races, but he's fast tonight. You can see he's just able to suck right up on the back of that 75 truck. Everywhere it goes, he looks like he just got more momentum than the rest.
Well, others in the Thor Sports stable have had speed. You know, it's just a matter of time until Jeff Hensley and Matt Crafton got it figured out. And looks like they have reached that point because Crafton much better tonight.
Yes, Ben Rhodes, his teammate behind him, and Grant Enfinger is going to make the move to the inside of Ben Rhodes. That's Grant in the 23 truck.
For 5th.
There's
Rhodes
Ryan
holds him off.
right there in the mix in 7th. 17 truck is going to be a contender all night long. See there making a move in the middle of 1 and 2, but man, it's so hard to continue that momentum off the turn without wrecking. There's another whoa, Phil.
Yeah, same situation, and look how much momentum he loses, and he loses that spot to the 18 of Chandler Smith. Ty Majeski is going to also try to take advantage in the 66.
All right, clear about 6, be smoother.
Watch it here off 4.
It's 2, I think.
Or off 2.
Right there, Jack Wood into the wall. Look at all that mess it causes when one guy gets a little bit out of whack. Everybody's got to react accordingly.
Right behind our buddy Todd Bodine is that's blue truck going bottom of your screen.
These guys have strung out a bit at the front of the pack, but certainly a lot of action all over the place. As I say that, John Hunter Nemechek trying to recover from that loose wheel. Gets around Tate Fogelman in the 30 truck.
And he was in almost the exact same situation as his teammate Chandler Smith. Ooh!
Lawless Allen got up into the wall.
wall.
Nemechek grabs a bunch of positions as Ty Majeski has a problem. Tire issue for Majeski.
So
speed, down the line, 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, glad that spotter said that. Looked a little quick when he got toward that line. But instead, let's just go 3 wide into 1.
Haley Deegan on the outside and Todd Bodine squeezed through. Now Blaine Perkins up top in that yellow number 9.
Jesse Little with the big scramble there through 1 and 2 in that 0-2 truck.
See the blue and green truck, that's Brennan Poole. Remember, had issues at the very start of the race. He finds himself over 20 laps down, but back out here soldiering on.
Halfway through stage 2. Parker Kligerman won the opening stage, and right now Kligerman runs 3rd.
Man, Tanner Gray struggling, 26th position. Great start to the season for that 15 team, but they've struggled lately.
Here comes Zane Smith making the move on Purdy. That's just inside the top 15.
Purdy's going to fight right back to the inside.
Boy, no spots are given easily. Dean Thompson, Matt DiBenedetto in the 25.
Thompson sliding sideways.
A lot of times timing is important at Darlington, and he had a big slide there, but luckily he had room to slide up the hill.
Nemechek right behind this group trying to make headway. Going to break, but you won't miss a thing. Going to keep it side by side from Darlington.
Race fans, Jesse Punch here live from Darlington Raceway with what may be the final update on the 43 truck of Akinori Ogata. I had mentioned earlier continuous engine troubles following that first caution and contact. Well, now the team has brought it down pit road and they're under the hood once again, but this time not in their pit box. They're right here teetering on the entryway to the garage. So it looks like that is going to be a day for the 43.
saw it on side by side. Tate Fogelman bringing out the caution, getting around off turn 4.
Now we got an interesting little
quandary
scenario we're faced with.
16 to go in this stage, and an opportunity for some to come to pit road.
Do you want them, Phil? Look how lovely they look.
Yeah,
look
I want them, but also I would rather save them for that final stage.
Look how inviting they are.
I know it.
Sitting there knowing there's all that speed in them. I'm going to pass if it's my decision right now. As you see up in the top of our screen, circled there, Tate Fogelman just gets a little bit too high. Kept it off the fence, though. Anytime you can spin at Darlington and not hit anything, that's pretty fortunate.
Yes, it is.
Let's spell out the strategy here. So you got tires. You could come here and get a set.
This team's getting them, you can tell.
And you could get another set at the end of stage 2, and you'd still have a set for some point during stage 3.
But I want,
but you want multiple sets during stage 3.
I want 2 sets during that stage.
We're drivers, though, Vince. We want them every time we can get them.
They don't have that many tires. Josh.
Yeah, and Matt Crafton has been happy with the truck he has right now. They made some big adjustments with the track bar and air pressure earlier. He's been running in the top 5. They're going to come in and get some tires. Chandler Smith saying he's trying to save his stuff right now, keeping it cool for the big balance swing that happens late in the race. Jamie?
Ross Chastain said the balance is pretty much the same, a little bit loose off, but it fired off better there. No adjustments on that 41 truck. And his teammate Carson Hocevar, a little too free at 1 and 2, otherwise good.
Well, we had 6-8 trucks stay out here. Most everybody else elected to come to pit road and get those tires.
And Matt Crafton slow on pit road here. Let's take a look and see what happened.
It's the right rear.
Yeah, a bunch of trucks beat him off of pit road.
Oh, got the tire sideways. Those fenders are so tight around those tires and couldn't get her squeezed out of there.
He's had plenty of speed tonight. We'll see if he can make those spots back up.
To his schedule with Nice Motorsports, this being the first of the 4. Chastain is a 3-time winner in this series himself, and this season alone as a Cup Series driver, he has 2 wins already with Trackhouse Racing. So Nice Motorsports knew what they were doing, adding 4 more truck dates to Chastain's schedule. Watch those teammates work together, because you're going to see a lot more of it this season.
Back here at Darlington after some pit stops, and some stayed out, including Todd Bodine up front, along with Dean Thompson. Jesse Little. Here's a good look at Tyler Ankrum as we address some of the throwback schemes.
The gunslinger.
Yep.
Nobody was a batter guy behind the wheel of one of these trucks and Mike Skinner. He could win anywhere and everywhere.
Our first champion in 1995.
Champion. It's a beautiful truck.
I liked that the 3 trucks, Michael, that stayed out on older tires all took the outside. So I think maybe we have a better chance to get through this restart unscathed.
So Ross Chastain and Carson Hocevar on the bottom with fresh tires, while Bodine and Thompson up top, Jesse Little as well. The top 3 trucks on the top line did not come to pit road.
The only problem will be is Ty Bodine and Dean Thompson getting launched here. That's going to be a real struggle on those old tires, and those guys in rows 4, 5, and 6 need to be aware of that.
Make sure they don't get all stacked up.
They're gonna. I think they already are, Vince.
12 to go in stage 2.
3 wide.
Chastain quickly to the point, followed by Hocevar. Here comes Kligerman on the bottom.
Wow, Kligerman's aggressive, isn't he? Really
Eckes right there in 4th.
Carson Hocevar tried to throw a block. Parker Kligerman said, "I'm having none of that."
Kligerman shown good speed. He won stage 1, but still can't put away Hocevar off 4.
Just barely lacked clearing Hocevar. He was waiting for his spotter, Brandon McReynolds, to say clear. It didn't happen.
Oh, man.
Side by side, Gray and Smith. Gray gets the position. Boy, especially after these restarts, it is so tight.
It is that. I got to tell you, I'm going to give it up for Ty Bodine. He's retreated gracefully after staying out on those old tires. There he is up on the outside, still hanging in the top 10 so far, and that's an accomplishment. Great job by those trucks taking the outside on the old tires, like you said, Phil, and managing their race right now, saving a set of tires and managing their race.
Talked about our colleague Bodine chasing 800 career NASCAR starts. He was 21st at Vegas in his first start of the season. Texas, Sonoma, Nashville, and Pocono yet to come.
Corey Heim the next to hit up Ty Bodine for a spot.
By the way, Bodine, we talk about Bodine, the 800 NASCAR starts, the most NASCAR starts. Kevin Harvick, 1,238.
Wow.
There was a time in the...
Mikey's up there somewhere too. Are you over 1,000?
I am more than 1,000, but I don't know how many more. There was a time back in the early O's where guys would run all the Xfinity series and all the Cup series and a few truck races, so they piled up a lot of starts back then.
Tanner Gray.
Whoa.
And now good look at Rhodes and Crafton and Eckes, 3 teammates. Eckes in the 98, Crafton the 88, Rhodes flaring to the outside, the 99. I've been as impressed with Crafton as anybody tonight.
Me too, Vince, and I think we noticed that early in the race. Very aggressive, very fast, and now he's finding himself still trying to work his way into the top 5.
Fought back from trouble on pit road. We documented the right rear issues on pit road and fought back up here in the top 10.
Watch Gray in the 15 and the 0202 of Jesse Little. Wow.
That is unfortunate, and that'll do damage to that right front fender of Tanner Gray. Be lucky not to blow that tire, but definitely going to lose his aerodynamics.
He's hanging in there right now in the 11th spot. That's Chandler Smith. 12th trying to grab that 11th spot. You can see all the damage to the right front of Tanner Gray's 15 truck.
Look at that steering wheel working it as he dives to the bottom.
Still up there. Still there. Still out there. Clear up. Clear, clear, clear.
Chandler Smith, winner earlier this season at Las Vegas.
How good does it feel?
That was music to his ears, wasn't it?
How good does that feel, Phil? Even as long as it's been since we raced, clear, clear, clear. That's like the best 3 words you hear all night long.
I mean, I'm wanting to say it to him. Clear, clear.
Really good lap time, even with the pass. You're good by 12.
The leader in the 41 truck, that's Ross Chastain. His teammate, Carson Hocevar, runs second. Hocevar was second at Bristol last race, matching his career best. He's never won in the Camping World Truck Series.
You see the hands?
Yeah.
You see Ross's hands? He's loose. He was the same way down to the other end of the racetrack. Hocevar has a better truck right now than Ross does.
Phil Gould, who was the crew chief for Ross Chastain.
Just run where he's not, no matter where you're at. Run where he's not, you're better.
When Chastain recorded his 3 wins in the Truck Series a few years back. And now Phil Gould is the crew chief for that 42 truck of Hocevar, who just took the lead.
This is not surprising to anybody that follows the Truck Series. Carson Hocevar can wheel a truck. Just an awesome young talent.
19 years old.
19 years old, and really, really aggressive behind the wheel, and does a nice job. Everywhere we go, it doesn't matter if it's Bristol dirt, wherever, this kid's going to be fast.
They've got to be pleased, Jamie.
And they really are. And Michael just mentioned Bristol. He was almost in tears after finishing second at the end of that race. They were so close to getting that first win. Now, he told me racing with Ross Chastain as a teammate here gives him a lot of confidence. He said, knowing I can run with a guy who races on Sundays helps my confidence. But I think we're both going to be good, and they have been 1-2 right now.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Jamie, you outrun Ross Chastain in anything these days, you've done a long day's work. And right now, Ross only sees one truck in front of him, and that's his teammate Carson.
Well, I think it speaks to the Nice Motorsports infrastructure as well. When you add a 5th truck to your stable for a race, as Nice has done by adding Ross Chastain to this race, that can put a lot of strain on your organization. But Nice is in a position now where not quite the strain that it was in the past, and they've adapted better. And then you add a guy like Ross Chastain, as good as he is, it can enhance your program in some ways.
And I think they're going to run the next 2 races as well, Kansas and Charlotte, or excuse me, Kansas and Texas. I think they're going to run also with Ross.
Final lap in this stage. So Parker Kligerman won stage 1. He'd never won a stage before, so he got his first career stage win. And now Carson Hocevar is going to win stage 2, and it will be his first career stage win. Hocevar takes the green and white checkers.
Checkers right there. Good job, man.
Wow, it has been exciting. Is this the night Carson Hocevar gets his first career win? He just won stage 2. Can he finish it? Darlington, and we're getting ready for pit stops. It's been an interesting night, a memorable one. Parker Kligerman won stage 1, his first ever stage win. Carson Hocevar wins stage 2, his first stage win. Josh.
Yeah, Christian Eckes finished 6th in stage number 2 on the way in. They were asking him, what do you need? And he said, I don't know. He said, I'm too tight in some points. I'm too loose in the back. He said the back is just edgy. So they settled on a track bar adjustment, hoping that'll help Christian Eckes get what he needs. Jamie?
Ross Chastain in the 41 lacks grip at both ends. Wedge adjustment in 4. Carson Hocevar said, all right, guys, be real smooth here. I don't need any changes. Keep track position. Y'all get kisses in victory lane.
Well, remember, Hocevar, if he wins this race, promised to get a tattoo of the 42. Kind of a throwback of a former truck driven by Travis Pastrana.
I thought maybe Travis was going to get the tattoo.
I'm not clear on who's getting a tattoo, but that's
kind of tight there.
Oh, look at the nose.
Yeah, some definite damage to the 98 of Eckes in the left front.
That's unfortunate. John Hunter, you got to be defensive though on pit road. You see that truck pulling out, you know he's going to come over, but that doesn't make it any.
I think Eckes was too pleased with that. Sending a little subtle message to John Hunter. The restart for the final stage when we come back. Too tough to tame, and well, sometimes frankly the pit road is pretty challenging too.
You know, it's a shame, Vince, you run all these laps, not a scratch on your truck, come to pit road 35 miles an hour, tear the whole nose off of it. Not very easy for Christian Eckes to take there, but again, as I said earlier, I don't really think John Hunter Nemechek is to blame for that. That's just tight quarters on pit road, and Eckes paid the price for it.
And he knew how important that track position was.
And
he knew he took off in front of Christian.
Well, two really strong trucks at the front here to start this final stage. That's John Hunter Nemechek on the inside in the white. Ross Chastain outside. fanning out behind them. Rhodes and Infinger in row 2.
Man, John Hunter wanted to cut up in front of Chastain. Ross said, no way, buddy. Coming around the top.
Off a 2 down the backstretch. How about Infinger making a challenge?
He caught John Hunter on the inside, lost his momentum. Now he's on the inside, losing his momentum.
Nemechek holds second, taking a peek for the lead. Tight down to turn 1.
Oh,
Nemechek and Chastain for the lead. Who's going to get it?
it's going to be Chastain with that run off the top.
Nobody's any more aggressive than Ross Chastain. He's not going to give up any ground.
Chastain with a couple of wins in the Cup Series this season. Oh, big accident. Hailie Deegan involved. Chase Purdy, Tanner Gray, Austin Wayne Self. Heavy damage to the 15 of Gray, and after starting the season with 3 strong results, it has been really difficult the last 4 races. And how about that Chase Purdy hit?
Wow, that truck's torn up about as bad as I remember seeing one here in a while.
Looks like he got turned around, maybe got into the outside wall with the driver's side.
I think I see Chase in there moving around, but the crews need to get that window net down and check on him. There's the damage to the Dead On Tools truck.
Yeah, the window net is down now for Chase Purdy.
You can see him moving around in there.
Safe
Taking the air hose off his helmet, doing that himself. That's a good sign.
Just worries you anytime you get turned around, if that's exactly what happened and he hit the wall driver's side. It's always worrisome to me.
Hailie Deegan.
A lot of damage to her Bobby Allison throwback truck. I believe she can keep going though. Didn't seem like a lot going on with the nose, just the fenders. I think that just tells you how hard that young man hit. Maybe knocked the breath out of him a bit, Phil.
For sure. Glad to see him out walking around though.
Tough break for Purdy, and here's some radio from the 15 of Tanner Gray.
Yeah, I think when he gave me a shot in the rear, cut the left rear down.
Well, that'll spin one around in a hurry. And collected many trucks.
Yeah, not many laps after the restart, so everybody was running together.
Purdy coming off a season best 13th at Bristol. Had a couple of other top 15s this season.
He's had good speed, Vince, and just some issues. I think he gets better and better. And see if we can see what went down here. You could see the Goodyear's rubbed off that left rear tire. See how dark that left rear tire is? And I think it just goes down. And
Austin Wayne Self had nowhere to go. Oh, Todd Bodine barely gets by.
oh man, this is going to be a big hit for Purdy. Look at that.
Haley coming along with nowhere to go as well in that one truck.
Look at the job that Timmy Hill does, knifing through
Jack
there.
Wood also. Jesse Little getting through there. Danny Bone.
Just a shame that these guys all come together and turn four. Nothing Purdy could do once hit. Just hang on.
Well, there were some innocent bystanders collected in that one.
Certainly were.
Unfortunate for Hailie Deegan as well, who hasn't caught many breaks this season.
Chris Wright in the 44 did a nice job of slipping through there. Got any major damage?
Deegan 20th and 29th here a year ago, and it's going to hurt her chances for a good finish. She had been running up inside the top 20.
Well, I think it destroyed that truck there for Chase Purdy.
Here's the contact. We heard about the 15 maybe getting his tire cut down right there. I think.
You see the letters on the Goodyear tire right now.
Yep.
And now they're gone.
Now they're gone.
And then the next lap ends up spinning.
Yeah, I think that caused a slow leak.
Yep.
It's good to see Tanner out. Going to take the mandatory ride to the care center.
Under caution, less than 50 to go at Darlington.
Race fans, Jesse Punch here live from Darlington Raceway. As we're just under 50 laps to go here in this race, we've already seen 2 first-time stage winners tonight. Well, it should be noted that there's a very high potential that we would not only see a first-time series winner, but we're most likely going to see a first-time series winner for here at Darlington. Now let me explain. There are only 2 drivers in the field here that have wins in this truck series at Darlington. Now both are champions. The first being Ben Rhodes, who won here back in 2020 and is our defending champion currently. The other, the 2-time champion in the field, it's Mr. Todd Bodine, the Onion, who won most recently back here in 2010.
Under caution for that multi-vehicle accident. You see there 45 to go. Everybody's got a set of tires laying in the pits, so at some point they're going to come, but this is too early, right?
I think so, yes. I think ideally, I think you want about 20, 25 laps to go. Michael, what do you think?
I want to tell you what I think is that every lap that goes by, they're going to push and shove more and more, and we're going to see
more cautions,
more
opportunities to come to pit road and put
crashes.
on those tires.
When do we get those so valuable, much wanted, needed tires?
I want them with 22 laps to go and nobody else get new tires.
And I would crown you the winner here at Darlington, Phil, if that worked out for you.
Well, I got my uniform on, Michael.
Drivers never change. You know, I mean, this is race 650 in the truck series, and I bet they would say the same thing in race 1.
Probably
just as they're saying now in race 650. How about it, Josh Sims?
Yeah, we talk about Iron Men in sports. How about Chris Showalter, the truck chief for the 18 of Chandler Smith, has been a crew member for all 650 truck races. I mean, we're talking dating back to the mid-90s for him. He's been a part of 16 wins. He's been a part of championships. And I talked to him earlier, and I asked him about this, and he just says, well, it just means that I'm old. But then Chandler Smith joined in and said, you know what? This man should write a book because he has stories for days, stories he could tell on air and off air, guys.
Yeah, I'm guessing a lot of those stories you got to wait till people die before you could tell.
I was talking to Chris down in the garage here and talking to him about 650 in a row. He said, you know, 650 doesn't sound that bad, but when you say it's 27 years, that's a long time since 1995.
Don't you just love his commitment, though, and the fact that he's been
there
here?
You go.
There he is with a big smile.
Yeah, I love it.
Congratulations, Chris. That's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah. And working with a driver now, Chandler Smith, who's 19 years old, by the way. Well, we've had a few stripes put on the walls tonight here at Darlington.
There's going to be a few more tonight, probably, and a lot more this weekend, too.
Yeah, this is just the beginning.
Xfinity race tomorrow. Adam Alexander along with Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano. And then on Sunday, Mike Joy, of course, Clint Boyer and some special guests. Richard
Cast of
Petty.
characters.
Yeah,
Cast of
Richard
characters
Petty
there, yes.
coming along.
That's going to be so cool.
Bobby Labonte will be here as well. Hey, first of 8 in a row. How about this lineup?
Michael talked earlier, Darlington, Kansas, Texas, Charlotte, basically all the same type racetracks, same type vehicles. Then we go to Worldwide Technology Raceway, which races like a short track, even though it's a mile and a quarter. And then how about a road course and a dirt track before we go to the concrete mile and a third or mile and a quarter of Nashville? Mile and a third, excuse me.
Yeah, I had a couple of crew chiefs say to me today how they felt like these first 2 races of the stretch were so important to kind of set the tone for this 8-week stretch. Boy, if the last thing you wanted was to tear up a bunch of equipment tonight, because this truck's going to have to go back into the rotation maybe for one of those races at the end of the month.
And like I said in the opening, Vince, the action just gets more and more intense and ramped up as we go toward the checkered flag. And we've already seen quite a lot of pushing and shoving, and we're still 43 laps from the finish. So it'd be nice if these guys would just settle in,
just play nice,
20-30 laps, get a set of tires and see who wins. But I can guarantee you that won't be the case.
And it's going to be right here, right up front, with Ross Chastain, the 41 on the outside, John Hunter, the 4 on the inside. These guys both desperately want this lead on this restart.
Well, and it seems like, I don't know if they've been the 2 best trucks, but they've certainly been 2 of the very best trucks. And I think those 2 or 3 behind them with Infinger and Hocevar and Crafton, probably the top 5 tonight. So it'll be interesting who's going to end up making it count. Parker Kligerman, don't count him out. But remember, we still got a pit stop. You're going to come and get another set of tires. Can't make a mistake on pit road. Don't get caught up in a mess.
We've been eavesdropping on Matt Craftson's radio, and he's going to be a very aggressive driver. He's got some anger issues right now. We'll see if he can work those out.
We'd like to play it for you, but we can't.
It would consist of beep.
Nemechek on the inside, Chastain outside. 42 to go here at Darlington.
See Ross hanging tough on the outside. Nemechek did a nice job of getting a good angle up off that corner using the apron. Actually has a little bit of momentum. Slides ahead of Chastain.
Nemechek to the lead. Chastain taking a look back underneath.
Going for the crossover move. Pulls to the inside of the 4 truck. Can he hold it through turn 1?
Saw Nemechek pull down in his door. Oh. Ross is going to get loose.
Nemechek holds the advantage. Infinger right there in third. Can he take advantage of Chastain losing some momentum?
That was another one of those wow moments. It looked like Chastain was going to take out John Hunter when they went into turn 1.
John Hunter right up next to the wall. A little bit more grip up there right now, it looks like.
Pulling to 80 gauge, clear by 7.
Look at this mess. Chandler Smith on the inside of Stuart Friesen as they race toward turn 1.
Just outside the top 10.
Kligerman 75, won stage 1 tonight. Getting past Ben Rhodes, that's for 7th.
Right behind them, Ryan Preece in that beautiful number 17 truck. Going very low in turn 4.
Oh! He wasn't clear.
And he bumped Heim into the wall and made it work. Wonder how much damage it did to the left front of Heim's truck. It looks pretty significant.
You can see it right there. The letters are gone from the Goodyear, as well as that left front fender wrinkled up.
Corey Heim in that 51, making just his 3rd start of the season, 19 years old. His most recent start came at Atlanta back in March. He won.
He's been impressive. He was impressive here a year ago. Put himself in a position to win, and then wound up crashed. Doesn't look like he's going to lose a tire out of that contact, but certainly hurt the performance of that truck a bit with that left front fender bashed in.
Yeah, the nice thing about that, from the top center of the tire around to the front, that's a composite piece. No sharp edges there, so that's what makes that nice, and hopefully won't cut that tire down.
Mike, you mentioned that Heim was up front here last year and ended up getting wrecked late. That was on a restart. He and his teammate John Hunter Nemechek were side by side on that restart and ended up getting wrecked. And just another indicator that You never know what's going to happen here at Darlington, and the racing is so tight. One little slip can cause a mishap, whether you're running 10th, 20th, or first and second, as we saw last year.
Check out that visor cam that Chandler Smith's wearing on his helmet. Show you how rough it is as he gets down into turn 3. How bad he just wants to get that gas down and go, but how difficult it is to get hooked up here at Darlington.
Chandler Smith ran the Xfinity Series race last week at Dover during the Camping World Truck Series off week. Working our way toward money time at Darlington. Back at Darlington Raceway, race number 7 of the season, Camping World Truck Series.
I'm breathing fairly normal right now, Vince. It seems to settle down, and here we go.
The caution is out, and it's the 51 of Corey Heim. We saw some contact with him earlier and thought maybe the tire was going to go down. Didn't see it go down at the time, but it looks like that is an issue here, as he was just inside the top 10.
I think he got into the wall, didn't he, Mike?
Well, I think that probably is a result of the squeeze into the wall that he had on that move. So probably just had enough of a rub on that right front to finally go down, and that put him into the wall in a major way.
So 30 to go. I got to believe people are coming to pit road now, right? I mean, you've got one set of tires. You come get them now.
And you want to have the best pit stop of your team's history, and you want to make sure as a driver you've got to do your job. You've got to get all you can on pit road. There's the tire, just slow leak, finally flat. Ryan Priest slips by. He was running the top 10 despite the problem.
Yeah, it was running 7th, I think, when that happened.
But this is not going to end well.
Yeah.
Stuart Friesen slips by.
Tough break for the 51 of Heim. And I would expect we're going to see everybody come down pit road and get that last set of tires available to them. And here they come. It's a parade.
This is the money stop, as they say.
Josh Sims
And Matt Crafton in the 88 has been happy with his truck up to 4th place. They made some early big adjustments. It's been working out with them. They're coming in to get fresh tires and some fuel to give them one last push. Jamie?
John Hunter Nemechek says he needs a little bit of help with turn, but overall pretty good. You see that chassis adjustment right there on 4 tires. The 41 of Ross Chastain way too loose that entire run. And the 23 Grant Enfinger fired off good. They're happy with it.
Yeah, I saw a big chassis adjustment on the 41.
Man, I didn't.
A little slow on the 23, it looked like, on their stop.
Yeah, I didn't think they had time for all that for the money stop and the run to the checker, but they did some major work on that truck.
Yeah, Enfinger ended up picking up a position. Eckes 2 tires.
Remember, he lost his track position. He was running about 15th.
See how that
wild.
See how that works out. Back at Darlington, you see 27 to go under caution. Good look at the 19 of Derek Kraus.
Talked to Bill McAnally, the owner of that car, and that's his late model on the right. He said 32 years with Napa.
Got Napa on his late model.
On the late model on the right, this is a throwback to that car.
How about Blaine Perkins in the 9? That's good looking.
Yeah, that's Doug George. That was early on in the truck series back in the 90s. I told Doug in the garage area that I used to sneak in when I was younger to watch him race that paint scheme.
Doug is the crew chief for Blaine Perkins in that 9.
That was a surprise to him too, and really meant a lot to him.
Our Blue Emu race summary. See Kligerman and Hocevar have been the stage winners. 8 different leaders.
8 cautions, and that number is going to go up, in my opinion.
Good chance of that. Good chance of that. Remember, 2 tires for Eckes. Lead truck on the outside.
Yeah, and a lot of damage to the front end of that truck as well.
And Grant Enfinger in that yellow truck is going to try to take advantage of that. Got a good push down into turn 1 from Hocevar behind him. Oh, but he can't clear Eckes.
Nemechek and Hocevar in row 2 battling side by side. Eckes trying to hold off Enfinger up front.
Remember, he has old left side tires, but at least they're up to air pressure.
But look at that run by Enfinger off.
It's going to be hard to fight off these 4 tires, though.
Oh, man, Enfinger's in a real bind down on the bottom with that stream of trucks going high.
Eckes still out front. Are you surprised with all that damage he's got on the front end and just 2 tires? He's been able to
Hold, go, you're good.
Wow, how about that save?
We heard it. We heard it from his onboard with a tire squealing.
Unbelievable. Wow. Nemechek around Eckes for the lead. Headed to turn 1.
That's incredible when you can hear the tires squalling and you don't have a caution. That was an awesome save by Enfinger. Now it's up to Carson Hocevar to heat up Christian Eckes in that 98. We talked about the wreck on pit road. This is a great recovery for that team.
Watch this. Enfinger in the 23. Nemechek in the 4. Kligerman the 75.
Just not enough room for it. Look at this save.
It's about 45 degrees sideways.
And look at him just working that wheel in there.
Look, Cross Chastain just as sideways behind him in the 41 truck.
And now the 9 of Blaine Perkins on the front stretch. And the caution is back out with 23 to go.
That truck looked so good a minute ago when we were throwing back to Doug George.
He was running 18th when it happened.
This is just the way these truck races at a place like this, maybe I should say everywhere, they're just so aggressive as the laps wind down. No give at all take. And a lot of times you see a couple, 3 cautions in the last 10, 15 laps. Oh, another truck involved.
Tate Fogelman in the 30. Also here along the front stretch just before the start finish line. Blaine Perkins, just a handful of Camping World Truck Series starts. We just talked about his throwback scheme with Doug George. Perkins, 22 years old from California. That's him in the yellow, very top of your screen to the right. Bam.
Just tried to move up the track, and it was occupied by Tate Fogelman. Wasn't clear on the outside and caused both those trucks to hit the wall. Sometimes you try to self-clear your truck, and don't know if that's the case here because there just wasn't room. Maybe got a little bit loose on the way up off.
Could have. And had to chase his truck up the hill to make contact. But we saw the give and the safer barrier because he hit at a pretty acute angle.
Wasn't that cute?
Acute.
Perkins out of the truck and Tate Fogelman out as well. Both being put on the hook.
Now we got to scoop these babies up, get them back to the garage area and go at it again.
John Hunter said, I didn't need that caution. I had me a little bit of a gap.
Let's go back to this save that Grant Enfinger made here in the 23.
Well, we've seen this all night long, Vince, how difficult it is to run 2 wide off turn 2. And Grant just gets his right front into John Hunter a bit, and then Parker Kligerman does a masterful job of not just finishing off Grant Enfinger. Let's get inside this truck and ride along and watch and listen.
Did you see how much he had to turn the steering wheel?
And did you see how before the truck was even straightened up, he was already turning it back the other way, making sure he didn't overcorrect? Masterful job.
He had to turn it all the way to the lock, and that's when you cross your arms and your arms cross and touch, that's lock to lock, and he had to do that to save that truck.
Wow.
And I want to say again that Parker Kligerman, he could have just wiped him right out. He was sideways, he was right there, but he was able to stay off of Enfinger somehow. Both those guys still able to contend for this win.
Well, Carson Hocevar currently sits second.
98 just going to take the top. He's on 2. He's slow. It's easy, hopefully. I'm here to outrun the 4. I can't really do that behind him. Yeah, I like to play with the 98 back there. If he wasn't there, I'd be a little more cautious about it, but I like your play there. Yes, sir.
I like when the driver has input on what he wants to do. You know, a lot of times the spotter will say, what I see is you need to go low or you want to go high. And that was a good interaction between spotter and the driver to find out exactly what Carson was thinking. And what he's thinking is that he's in a position to win a race again.
Yep.
And that's been impressive all year long, and how he's just really rallied and come to the plate. There's the spotters well above the speedway, able to really help their drivers make decisions along the way.
Mike Steele, the spotter for Hocevar in the 42. 20 to go. Under caution, John Hunter Nemechek and Carson Hocevar will battle for the lead on the restart.
Get excited. We have just a few laps left here in tonight's Truck Series race, and that Ford truck of John Hunter Nemechek is looking for much more than a win tonight. He's looking to end a losing streak that has been lasting for almost a year now. Now, John Hunter Nemechek, he was the defending regular season champion in the series last season, and he had 5 total wins. But he has not visited victory lane since June at Pocono last season. So tonight's win would mean way more than hoisting a trophy. It would be a huge, huge confidence boost for that Ford team.
Going to need a bunch of tools
to repair some of the damage on these trucks. We've had plenty of it tonight. John Hunter Nemechek and Carson Hocevar have kept theirs clean, and that's why they're at the front.
But there's been a lot of others that haven't, Vince.
Yep.
Look at that, 4 wide at Darlington, and we didn't say caution's out.
Or are you okay?
Parker Kligerman won stage 1, his first career stage win. Carson Hocevar got his first career stage win in stage 2.
Oh, and look at this. Christian Eckes just rolling down pit road. He and John Hunter make contact. Heavy damage to Eckes' truck on pit road. Guess where he's running now? Third.
There's a big one. You see the contact. Chase Purdy, the 61, gets the worst of it, as well as the 15 of Tanner Gray. And what an amazing save by Grant Enfinger. And look, the 41 of Ross Chastain just as sideways after some contact from the 38 of Zane Smith. And here's the most recent caution there with Wayne Perkins and Tate Fogelman getting together.
We're going to be inside 20 laps to go. Right now, 18 to go. We're going to get the green a couple laps. It's going to be a scramble to the checkered flag.
It has been an exciting race. Of course, the restarts always bring chaos, but particularly on a track like Darlington, it's so narrow.
Are we going green the rest of the way?
No. I think we got one more in us.
Radio from Eckes in the 98.
I told Hirschman you were way nicer to the Ford than I would have been right there. I'm not trying to get wrecked again. Right. There's a reason I spot you race.
Well, maybe a mature move by Eckes.
Well, he realizes that he's at a little bit of a disadvantage tire-wise, although I think this caution will help that situation a little bit because it'll give those other guys a complete cycle on all 4 of those tires, all 4 of their tires.
The trucks that were involved in that accident, the 9 and the 30, have been put on the hook and taken back to the garage area, but a lot of fluid put down along the front stretch, way down near the wall, not where you'd be racing, but still you got to clean it up. So NASCAR has, as you see, gone to work down along that inside wall. Well, if we do go green from here, who you like?
Well, we talked about, Vince, when practice ended, that John Hunter Nemechek was going to win this race.
It was a class of the field.
Yeah, he was the best. And so now he's in a position to do just that. But I'm going to tell you, Carson Hocevar is going to be so aggressive in that 42 truck. He was nearly in tears after losing Bristol. So close to the victory. Just felt like got out raced in that race by Ben Rhodes, and that's hard to take for a racer to say that. And now he's in a position again to go grab a victory. But what about this rebound here? You got to give it up for this team, making repairs, having a strategy call that's put Christian Eckes in a position to contend for the win as well. But I mean, the short answer, Vince, is John Hunter Nemechek, but it took me a long time to get there.
I thought you were going to say the short answer is you have no idea. Hey, it's 10 o'clock here in the East, and if you've tuned into FS1 looking for USFL action between the Stars and the Panthers, well, stay tuned. Kickoff not scheduled until 10:20 Eastern, but we'll get you there as soon as we get finished up here at Darlington. Down to Josh Sims on the 98 of Eckes and that damaged machine.
Yeah, they're battling right now. His crew chief told him, I know you have those old left tires, but keep doing what you're doing. You're putting yourself in a good position. He told him, you have better long speed than anybody else out there, so just keep battling and see if you can bring this thing home. Jamie?
And John Hunter Nemechek in the lead right now has now led more laps than anybody else tonight. Really quiet on the radio. And he said earlier, you know, we finished second here, runner up last year. He said, we are hungry. We haven't won yet this year. And he said, we've got some unfinished business. I would say he's going to be a little bit aggressive defending this lead right now.
You know, that's a great point, Jamie. And not only was he second here in the fall, he led the most laps in the spring race. And ended up, what, 8th because they got that accident there on the restart. So he felt like he should have won both these races last year and didn't get either one of them. So you can be sure, as Jamie said, he's got his sights set on this one.
And he's been aggressive. He's been aggressive on the racetrack. He's been aggressive on pit road, squeezing Eckes out to get that position on pit road.
Choose zone. No surprise that Nemechek went to the outside. Certainly the preferred lane. Oh, that's a penalty for Majeski as he ran right over the top of it.
That thing snuck right up on him, didn't it?
I don't know how. Hey, by the way, we've talked about earlier in the day, we talked about some of the drivers that need to have good races today for one reason or another and how challenging it is coming to Darlington needing a good one. You know, Infinger was outside the cut line. Crafton he's on the bubble and hadn't had a top 5. Ankrum, Haley Deegan situation. 3 of those 4 are in the top 10 as we get ready for this restart. Haley Deegan being the lone exception.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Grant Infinger and Matt Craft and their speed, but Tyler Ankram's just been steady and consistent, and he's charged his way up inside the top 10 here late in the going. So great job by that young man as well.
Deegan back in 25th, but again, really no fault of her own, caught up as an innocent bystander. Here's Majeski. You see, you can't run over the box.
Right through the middle of it, too.
What are we going to do with him, Phil?
We're going to put him at the back right now.
Yes, you are. That's the penalty.
Here
Getting
we
ready
go.
to come green, and when we take the green, there will be 14 laps to go. John Hunter Nemechek on the outside, Carson Hocevar on the inside. Is this the dash to the finish at Darlington? Or will there be another caution and bring another restart? Nemechek to the point. Now that he's out front, can he set sail? Battle for second between Eckes and Hocevar.
Boy, the outside really had an advantage on that restart.
Man, and Carson Hocevar did such a good job down on the bottom of that 98 truck, not getting sideways, and now he's in second spot. Can he go run down John Hunter Nemechek?
I mean, nice and smooth. Hit your marks.
Ross Chastain with a nice pass, or got beside Eckes and takes that spot away.
Boy, with Eckes and Hocevar side by side, that really allowed John Hunter to get out and gap those other trucks, namely Hocevar, who's now running second, and Eckes is slipping back. But remember, John Hunter won the pole by over 4/10 earlier today.
There's a 66, Benson Majeski. Yep. We saw him obviously run over the choose box,
and he was not penalized because he's running inside the top 10.
Yeah, that's confusing to say the least.
Definitely missed, because that is for sure a penalty.
I mean, I could have called that one.
And there he goes after his teammate Crafton.
And Crafton needs to get by the 98 on those older left side tires to get away from the 66.
All three ThorSport trucks right there, the 98, the 88, and the 66. Crafton looking at Eckes for 6th.
Crafton will have to be careful. If he gets his momentum slowed, he'll lose that spot to Majeski.
Watch for a big dive to the bottom here for the 88. There it goes. All the way down off the racetrack. Grabs that spot away. Got to be careful, though, not to slide up too much.
Back inside barely.
Camping World 10 to go. 10 laps remaining at Darlington. 3 ThorSport trucks fighting for position back at 6th, 7th, and 8th.
There's Zane Smith creeping into this battle. Ryan Preece as well. Such great racing here in the Truck Series.
Ryan Preece makes the move under the 16 of Ankrum.
Wow, what a great run from that 17, huh?
He gets a couple of them in one corner.
Ankrum's going to try to dispose of the 98 of Eckes.
Smith 8th. Didn't bring their top piece here tonight, and didn't really expect, I don't think, that they were going to be as good tonight maybe as they've been at some other races. But it has still been a salvageable night, to say the least, for Zane Smith inside the top 10. They're going to walk away with this one pretty pleased with their result.
There's a buddy Todd Bodine right in the middle of a mix here. Matt DiBenedetto, the 25, just got around Todd.
Matt's done a nice job rebounding.
He was 2 laps down at one time, Michael.
Took a wave around, made his way back into contention. There goes that beautiful Sterling Marlin tribute truck.
Yeah, DiBenedetto running 15th, now 14th. Chandler Smith going to challenge down on the inside. There's Bodine right behind him in the 62, the blue and yellow. Camping World machine.
Todd's doing us proud, isn't he? Our colleagues running right there in the right outside the top 15, doing a great job in that 62 Camping World truck.
But racing with one of our winners from this year, Chandler Smith.
There's Stuart Friesen sliding high as Matt D goes to the bottom and grabs another spot. Sterling Marlin sitting at home in Tennessee. I'd guess with a Coors Light, smiling with the job that that 25 is doing right now.
Friesen 14th. A little bit surprised. I thought maybe we'd see a better, stronger run from the 52 tonight.
He had a 3rd place run here last year.
Yeah, he and Bodine running together as teammates, and currently 14th and 15th. And Ben Rhodes with a problem, and that likely going to bring out the caution.
It does.
With 6 to go.
Get it rolling if you can. Get it rolling if you can.
Oh, boy, that's not what John Hunter Nemechek wanted to see. Nemechek had built his lead up over a second. And instead, he's going to have to outduel Hocevar on a restart. Hocevar's pit box and the nervousness. As a parent, you've been in that position a time or two, and probably will be in that position tomorrow when Stefan is running in the Xfinity Series race.
Yeah, just want
ring in those hands.
Just want them to do their best. That's
and
all.
he did a great job in qualifying earlier today, and it's so cool to see Stefan out there in the Xfinity Series in the throwback machine of Ural scheme.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun back then. We were able to win Talladega with that paint scheme.
Phil has the honor of his son throwing back to him, and Phil threw back to himself as well.
By wearing his
It just
his
wasn't
own
enough.
T-shirt. Yeah.
It just wasn't enough for Stefan to do it. I had to do it myself.
Yeah,
too.
you really brought it tonight, Phil.
There's a lot of throwing. Stay tuned, folks. If you're looking for the Philadelphia Stars and the Michigan Panthers, that's coming up as soon as we get done here tonight. And you can tune over onto FS2. Kickoff not scheduled until 10:20 tonight, but if you want to jump over to FS2, you can see the pregame as they get closer to kick. And of course, we'll get you there as soon as we're finished here tonight at Darlington. And
good crowd of folks rolling into Darlington, getting ready for this throwback weekend, enjoying the truckers tonight, Xfinity tomorrow. Our broadcast booth is just above the grandstands, and a lot of people down there having a big time, cheering for their favorite driver and just enjoying NASCAR on a Friday night.
Love this racetrack and the history and the tradition. And when you come to Darlington, you're going to get a little bit of this too. Or sometimes you're going to get a lot of it.
That's Matt DiBenedetto. He cut a tire down.
Blew a tire before they got to the turn.
Yeah, was it the left rear, Michael?
It looked like.
Yeah.
That usually comes from contact previously.
Definitely the left rear tire.
And that is Rhodes, our defending series champion, the winner of the most recent race on the Bristol Dirt.
Watch this tire just blow out.
Yeah, there may have been a little contact after Ben wiggled, but there was no contact from Matt DiBenedetto prior to that left rear tire going down. See, the letter's still on the tire.
That's what the twists and turns of the Camping World Truck Series bring us, because that's a guy that we've got penciled in for one of the championship favorites, and tonight just hasn't been what we expected. Issues throughout. Chandler Smith, do we want some tires?
Yeah, he'd want some.
Well, we got one for sure out. Here comes another one.
Scuffs?
They were scuffed.
Yep.
Yes, I don't think they had any new tires
No.
left. But
So
they're
those-
cold and probably less laps on them than what the tires they're taking off.
But probably what they put on early stage 2 on that pit stop.
Yes, that was it.
Well,
We
remember,
stopped
they,
after
came
about
to,
10
they
laps.
came to pit road 10 laps into the race.
Yeah.
So that might have been
That might
the
have been
initial,
their initial
10. Yeah, the initial lap.
Set of tires that he
Yep.
qualified on.
Yep.
Started the race on.
Unfortunately for that team, there's 24 trucks on the lead lap, and he's only going to have a couple of laps. So I don't know how that strategy will pay off.
Got some radio from Hocevar, who will restart up front with Nemechek.
And trying to set him up where you can drive underneath him in 3, try to slide him that way. That's kind of my plan. I need to set him up for 3 or 4. I can't beat him 1 and 2.
Well, that's been proven. The bottom is really at a disadvantage off turn 2. Lose a lot of momentum. I'd like to see him try to squeeze up behind John Hunter through 1 and 2 and then make the dive bomb like they're talking about down in 3. We'll see if that works out.
Well, how about restarting on the outside behind him?
That's an option as well. Maybe that's what they're talking about. That would pull Ross Chastain up on the front row. I don't think I want that.
I wouldn't want to do that. Even though he's my teammate, I don't think I would want someone as aggressive as Ross starting on the front row.
Still got another lap to go before we even get the 1 to go. So still some sorting and strategery that could be played from some of these teams on where they go to restart.
So if you're Hocevar, are you going to restart on the front row then? That's what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, because
I think probably so.
I don't want to invite Ross Chastain all the way up into this party if I can avoid it.
And the thing is, if Hocevar could get the slightest advantage and the caution were to come out for another reason, then he may be able to get the lead for the next restart.
And even with Chastain starting in row 2, I wouldn't count him out to somehow find a way to win this thing. Look at he's done in the Cup Series.
He just gets everybody out of the way when it's time to win, doesn't he? That was an awesome last lap down in Austin, Texas, and a great victory for Ross Chastain.
How about Talladega? He never did a thing. All he did was hold the steering wheel straight, and everybody got out of his way. Well, they saw what happened at Coda, right? So they just got out of his way?
You better move over. This has been a storybook season for Trackhouse Racing, hasn't it?
Coming to the choose this time by.
Now you're not supposed to run over the choose box.
I bet Majeski doesn't do it again.
He got away with one.
I guess that's right. John Hunter Nemechek's not going to get near the choose box. He's going to get right behind that pace car and stay up on the high side. What's Hocevar do?
He's got to go inside, Mike.
You're right. He did. That gives John Hunter.
Ooh, Kligerman stays to the outside. Gives up a row.
And then brings Grant Infinger to his inside.
So Chastain going to start behind Nemechek with Kligerman. So we'll see if that top row ends up with some challenge to the leader, Nemechek. How about the insight to that 42, Jamie?
So maybe a little teammate help going on here. Carson Hocevar said, okay, I'll go to the inside. And they said, if you cannot clear the 4, Ross Chastain will let you back up in front of him.
I'm gonna watch that and note it. If Ross Chastain lets anyone do anything ever, I would be surprised if that's the case. But you know, maybe they think that that's the best way for them to get the win is for Hocevar to be in that position to chase John Hunter down to turn 3.
As you saw there on the graphic, this is officially NASCAR overtime. So they'll take the green. And if they come around and get the white, the next flag, whether it's the caution flag or the checkered flag, would end the race. But if they don't, the leaders don't take the white flag before the caution comes out, we re-rack them and do it again.
NASCAR overtime. That just sounds exciting.
It is exciting, and it's especially exciting when it's at Darlington.
Watch how aggressive this second row is.
Oh, and John Hunter.
A lot of contact.
Chastain didn't get
4
going.
rows back, and Chastain with a big problem. Meanwhile, Hocevar chasing John Hunter. Infinger is there. The top 3.
Does Hocevar try to slide him? Dive to the bottom. He's not going to do it this corner.
Yeah, not quite close enough. Nemechek right up along the wall.
That was a great corner by John Hunter, but
white flag. 1 to go.
Hocevar keeps pace.
Can Hocevar make a run at Nemechek as they come off turn 2? We heard Hocevar say he'd have to do it down at 3 and 4, but he's not close enough at this point.
Lost too much ground there in 1 and 2, Vince.
Nemechek thought he should have won both races here last year. He didn't win either one of them, but he is going to get it done tonight. John Hunter Nemechek wins at Darlington.
Let's go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, buddy. Way to execute.
12th career win for Nemechek, and for the second race in a row, Hocevar is the runner-up.
See if we can figure out what happens to Ross Chastain on the outside here.
Second truck outside lane.
Did he miss a gear, Michael? Did he was spinning the tires, then did he try to grab a gear and miss it?
Yeah, but if he did, you'd think he'd get back up to speed.
Yeah.
So maybe he broke the transmission going from second to third gear. We kind of talked about, Vince, about 15 minutes into practice this morning that this afternoon, excuse me, this was your favorite. This was the guy you'd have to beat, and nobody was able to do so.
The last 4 races for Nemechek: 2nd, 4th, 3rd, 1st.
Pretty good run.
Even though he hadn't won, we weren't worried about him being a championship contender. He's been in our top 4 all year long, and this is exactly why.
First win of the season for John Hunter Nemechek. He was so good last year, won 5 times, but maybe peaked early in the season, weren't their best down the stretch, and did not win the championship. And it was a huge disappointment to this team. This year, off to a little bit slower start, but they are hitting their stride for sure right now as Nemechek gets his first win of the season. And it's disappointment again for Carson Hocevar. Second win at Darlington for Nemechek. Check that. Jamie with the winner.
Well, John Hunter Nemechek, he led over 100 laps between the two races here last year, came up 1 spot short in the fall, and today said, I've got unfinished business here at Darlington. Well, John Hunter, tonight was the night you got your victory here at Darlington. What was the difference maker this time around?
No, Sheldon Creed, he won both of them last year. Just huge shout out to all of the guys that work on this number 4, KBM, Toyota Tundra, TRD Pro. Just Mobile One, Pi Barker, Fire Alarm Services, Romco Equipment, Barry's Bullets. Everyone that puts their heart and soul into what's going on is huge. So just thank you to everyone. Thank you to the fans. Heck yeah, awesome crowd. I thought we gave it away early, honestly, and we were able to rebound and battle back, so it's cool. Aspen, I think, is sleeping, so hopefully Taylor gets her up and brings her to victory lane so we can celebrate. But learned a lot tonight. Finally was able to bring home the first win of the year. It's been a little bit coming after the start of the year, so I'm just thankful for the opportunity, Kyle, Toyota TRD, for putting me in this, and let's go celebrate.
All right, it's a heck of a burnout. John Hunter Nemechek wins at Darlington.
Impressive indeed. Thank you, Jamie. How about hosts of our second, Infinger third, Majeski fourth, Crafton rounding out the top 5, and a tip of the cap to our colleague Todd Bodine, finished 10th tonight.
Top 10 for Todd. Great run.
For Jamie Little and Josh Sims, Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch. Congratulations to John Hunter Nemechek, the winner at Darlington. USFL right now.
I'm back on my own too, so whatever happens is on you. They stood on the shoulders of pride. I stood on the word that is all true. Like gravity, I'm holding it down and holding my crown. Showing these towns that no one around can match with me. I'll be the last one standing, last one standing. If you got something to prove, go ahead and make your move. Last one standing, last one standing. I'll be the last one standing, last one standing.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.